Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland in Kirkland, Washington on a beautiful rainy day here in late March in the Seattle area. And I'm reminded as I take in this 2012 Lexus LS460L here at Infiniti of Kirkland, one of my favorite characters on TV. Anybody who's familiar with Masterpiece Theater on PBS knows of a certain scowling and severe inspector from Oxford, England, Inspector Morse. And amongst other things, Morse is noteworthy for is a certain Carnival Red 1960 Jaguar Mark II that he drives around for all of about 30 years according to the show, and certainly every episode for the lifetime of the Inspector Morse series. And so, being a big fan of Inspector Morse and of that particular car, it's a gorgeous car obviously, I've always asked myself, is there a car that I myself could keep for 30 years? I mean, cars come and go, trends come and go, but I look back to the Sir William Lyons, that's the founder of, going back a little further in history, after World War I, Sir Lyons was a motorcycle racer. He starts a company called Swallow Sidecars, the sidecars to the motorcycles. After World War II, that becomes Jaguar, and of course he is one of the essential designers of that Mark II from the Morse series. But his #1 concept for Jaguar in that era was embodied by 3 words: grace, pace, and space. It's all Jaguar concepts from the 50s on forward, always about that, grace, pace, and space. And so I always take that as my point of reference. If I'm going to have a car for 30 years, it needs to be graceful, and of course this LS460L, especially in diamond white pearl, is very graceful. And then pace, it has to have a lot of motor, and of course this has almost 400 horsepower and a commensurate amount of torque. And then space, and nothing has more space than the LS460L, which is the same as the LS460, just L means long wheelbase, and then you really feel that particularly in the back seat. Now let's take a look at this particular car. This has a nice touch. It has that 3M product that they call Clear Bra, so no rock chips of any kind in the front. And then taking a look along the side, chrome wheels are a nice touch, power folding mirrors are a nice touch. And then you don't have to even push the button. So long as you have a key anywhere near you, just pull on the door handle and it opens up. And then again, we're talking about abundant space inside here. Perhaps the roomiest car you've ever sat in your entire life. But one thing when we're talking about keeping a car for 30 years is the quality of the car. And when I say what is quality, I say quality is in the details. It's all the stuff that you don't talk about is the quality there. So when I touch something as mundane as the coin holder, the button feels fantastic. Everything slides out smoothly and then clicks in beautifully. And then of course it's not going to work as soon as I'm on video, but as soon as I click it in, it clicks in very, very nicely. And so the buttons all have a wonderful feel to them. The wood has an outstanding finish to it, and like old Jaguars, a lot of cars that have wood, it'll get really cracked up as the years go by. If I'm thinking I'm going to keep a car for 30 years, I want first class wood, and you do get first class wood in the LS460. Taking a look in the back seat, I mean, you truly have acres and acres of space back here. I'm a foot away from touching the seat in front of me. Now this has a upgraded luxury package that has kind of a faux suede finish on the headliner. That's the giveaway on that package. And I don't know if faux suede really exemplifies luxury or not, but it does feel nice and soft to the touch. With that package, you also get an upgraded leather interior. And again, if I'm keeping a car for 30 years, I want the most comfortable car that I can possibly get. And this luxury package is definitely the way to get it. It has heated and air-conditioned seats in the front, and it also has heated seats in the back. And then how that works is this center area opens up, and then it features the buttons that you need to empower the sunshades, and has sunshades in the rear doors, and then it also has it in these quarter windows in the back, and then sunshade in the back. And you can operate those from the back, or you can operate them from the front. Heated seat dials are here, so it's incremental heated seats. You can make it just a little bit warm or blazing hot to your derriere if that's what you prefer. And then also they have another executive seating feature. This one doesn't have that feature, but it is a cool feature. Is that just the right seat, not the left seat, but just the right seat, will actually unfurl and be like a complete Barca lounger, and you really get super duper comfortable your legs get raised. I mean, it's pretty far out in the world of cars. Why it's only on the one seat, I don't have an answer for that, but it is only on the one seat. My concern with that is that a power seat, we've had in our Infiniti brand a couple of occasions where seats have needed to be replaced for whatever reason, and that seat's about $5,000 with all the motors and airbag modules and everything that goes in a modern seat. I would be worried if I'm keeping a car for 30 years that that one power seat, if it were to become dysfunctional for any reason, you know, I'd probably have to take a second mortgage out on the house. Let's open up the trunk. One other feature, and it's all power, but one other feature in that back seat is you can actually get a full second climate control. Kind of like if you see RVs and they have the big air conditioning unit on top of the RV, they have a similar concept that goes behind where the rear seat is to give you full climate in the back seat. The problem with that is again, am I going to use it? Is it going to break? Is it going to be expensive over the long haul? But above and beyond that, it takes my trunk space from 18 cubic feet, which is fantastic, down to about 15.5 cubic feet, which is good. It's just not fantastic. And one of the things that I like, one of my 3 priorities, according to my own ideas of things, is that space. I want lots of space. So I want lots of interior space. I want lots of trunk space. This is actually just as I would order this car. I love the color combination. I love the options that it has, and I love the options that it doesn't have, to be honest with you. This would be absolutely perfect for me. Let's take a look inside and turn it on. So 380 horsepower, 367 foot-pounds of torque. It's all push-button start. Take this off. And just like Morse, if you know Morse at all, he's a huge fan of classical music. The previous owner of this car also was a huge fan of classical music. And then they also opted for the Mark Levinson package, and I'm an absolute sucker for nice stereo systems. The car could be a hunk of junk with a nice stereo, and that's a big improvement. The magazines always say, show me a car with 50 more horsepower than it used to have, and I'll show you a better car. I'm the same way with stereo systems. I love a fast car, but when I'm driving to work, or especially when I'm driving home from work, I just want to chill out, and I want to crank up the music. Even if it's classical music, I want to listen to it really, really loud. Mark Levinson makes as fine a stereo system as there is in the whole wide world, and especially in this application in the Lexus, it sounds absolutely brilliant. It's just an amazing stereo system. There's no two ways about it. Now this car is ensconced in leather and wood and airbags and everything to make you feel comfortable and safe, and it really is a world of opulence that's second, maybe even to a Bentley, if even second to that. I mean, Bentley makes a wonderful interior, but I don't know honestly if it's any nicer than this. A lot of people say this is kind of a not as nice car as maybe a big body Benz or a big body BMW because they're faster and they handle better and they do things well. I own a big body 7 Series BMW and I like it. It's sporty, it's cool, but it's not a car I'm going to keep for 30 years. That car, even with 60, 70, 80,000 miles, stuff breaks, it's expensive. That's the real world of big body BMW ownership. Big body Lexus ownership, their owners tend to enjoy an experience, although maybe not as sporting as their German counterparts, certainly more reliable. And so that's going to be another important factor for my 30-year car. Amazing quality, great looking style. Lexus LSs, they're a timeless look going back to when the LS first came out in 1990. Those cars still look cool today. The coupe version of that car, the SC that came out in 1992, is worth as much today as it was worth 10, 15 years ago, and I would think it's even going to become something of a collector, if at least a nostalgia car, but maybe even a collector car in the future. The LS is not so much, but still a very cool car. This is kind of the last of a generation of LSs. It's being phased out and replaced with a much more expensive vehicle that's supposed to compete more with its German counterparts. But for me, this is the right car. It's smooth, it's comfortable. I wish it had a little bit better brakes. It stops from 60 to 0 in about 135 feet. 120 feet is about where you want to be. I would probably, myself personally, make some adjustments in the suspension, the tires. I would want to get a little bit better grip, but not so much so that it would compromise the comfort and luxury of this car. It's a quiet car, it's a beautiful car, it's a neat car. If you have any questions about this car or anything at all here at Infiniti of Kirkland, please don't hesitate to give me a call anytime. My name is Joe Tunney. I'm the sales manager here at Infiniti of Kirkland. You can call me anytime, 425-821-1400, or just drop me an email at joet@infinitiofkirkland.com.